Howdy guys, this is an episode worthy of a drink, so allow me to indulge. Welcome back to the Inwit. Here I am, Robin, talking about episode 7 of the current season of Survivor. I don't know the name of it yet, but what a great episode. This is finally what I look, you're in for a great episode when the immunity challenge is the first thing that happens, and there has got to be a lot of strategy. There's got to be a lot of gameplay. I've got things to talk about regarding what happened, but man, this was fun. I do have to start off with we all knew it was going to happen because the start of the episode shows the idols, the recap on the on Layla's advantage. All this stuff. So it's kind of like, well, thank you for telling me exactly what's going to happen in this episode. But look, I'm excited. We could scrap that and have the introduction back. Please, Jeff, bring the introduction back. Anyway, that's enough of that. Here we get Erica coming back and playing the reverse time advantage, which she was always going to smash it. There was nothing else for her to do. It makes no sense to not make herself immune. It really doesn't, especially when you've been away for 2 whole days. It's not one night, it's 2 days, 2 nights. So she's done the right move. She smashed the time glass. However, if it's reversing in time, why don't the other people get to feast while the challenge is going on? They should get the feast as well. Give it a full back in time, a reversal, not just the immunity. But you got to theme something. That's what they've themed at the reverse time. But what we have is Ricard ends up winning, leaving us with our 4: Deshawn, Danny, Nasir, and Sydney. And then we have Ricard, who's safe, and Evie, who is not. Clearly, Evie's on the chopping block. She knows it. It makes perfect sense why she would know it. And Sydney is slightly on the outs because you need a 4 girl or guy, whoever's left in that position. And what we end up having is a great lot of fun for a viewer, even though we saw that the edit has told us this is what's going to happen in this episode prior. It doesn't need to tell us. It really doesn't need to tell us. We're gonna enjoy it equally without the foreshadowing. So anyway, this is where finally the payoff of these idols and advantages happens. We get everything. We get a shot in the dark goes off. We get an extra vote played. We get the idol reveal not played. We get a fakie thrown in there. And we get the knowledge is power idol or advantage played. Now, knowledge is power, and knowledge ends up showing you how much it is as far as when it comes to power. That was a weird sentence. Knowledge is power, and it really comes in to play here when you see what knowledge actually does. I talked about this last week where I've had 3 sips of this. And I'm stumbling on my words. Man, what is wrong with me? This might be a long episode, folks. I apologize. What we get is this time round, everyone wants to tell everyone about everything. This time round, the 3 idols that are currently in play are all known to everybody. There is no knowledge here that is secret. Everybody knows everything. And then we get this strange Chinese whisper sort of thing happening where Danny and Xander are talking. Xander mentions he's going to save Evie. He knows about Liliana's advantage. Then Danny goes off and tells Liliana this, and it's all chaos. It's absolute chaos, but it's enjoyable chaos. I love it. Then the problem we have with it's forced enjoyable chaos. I loved it. I love this episode very much so, but it is contrived and we don't need it to be. This sort of gameplay can happen and has happened throughout the history of Survivor, that we don't need to force it. We just need clever players. Right now, no offense, as much as I really enjoy this cast, we've got a bunch of bonehead idiots who want to tell everybody everything. So therefore, the knowledge that was power is now no longer powerful. Everyone knows about this idol. Everyone knows about that advantage. We all know everything. So now the trick comes into how you play that. And the Xander, Evie, Tiff trio there play it almost to perfection. We have the fake out for Liliana, because now she's trying to get everyone's saying everything. Like, everyone's telling everything, everyone's going on. The plans, there's no hidden plan. It's all out in the open. So we get that little moment where Xander, Evie, and Liliana have that little chat, and Xander's like playing it, and Liliana says he's not going to give it to you, to Evie, and Evie ends up saying no, he wants the move. Great, love that lie, love it, very, very solid. Meanwhile, I'm screaming at the TV going, they need to give that idol to Tiff. Tiff needs to have that, because that really takes she's not in the spotlight, so she's the perfect person to have it. Thankfully, they did that, and I was over the moon to have Tiff be the one who ends up having the idol and also the extra vote, which wasn't needed to give both, but whatever. She definitely needed the idol, because then you can, regardless of going on Sydney, they could split the votes on Xander and Evie, which would have been the smartest split. Throwing Sydney in there was crazy, but Sydney is really just cannon fodder. She hasn't, even though she thinks she's like the female JD, except not as intense as JD was. She thinks she's amazing, but she really isn't, and she hasn't been for the 7 episodes so far, the 14 days we've had. But she just assumes. I think everyone's going to vote for me. Why? You're literally just cruising on by. She's only just a collateral damage in this unfortunate string of events for her, because no need to vote her out. She's not really giving much strategically, that we're seeing anyway. She doesn't bring much value. The split from the other tribe, the other division, should have really gone onto Evie and Xander, because what you end up doing there is forcing the fear. It's going to be me. It could be me if I play my idol for Evie. I know it's not going to be me, so I can play my idol for Evie. I also know the knowledge is power. Yeah, knowledge is power. No shit. So keep that knowledge to yourself, because once everyone knows, it becomes useless. As we see, Liliana's completely outplayed because her knowledge is power. Everyone knows about it. So that knowledge is easily manipulated, or that power is easily manipulated. And we have that beautiful, beautiful moment where Xander pulls out the fakie and just going fishing, reeling her in, which was really nice play. Really nice play, really nice little bit of acting there from Xander and Evie. Couple of smiles, but obviously in the heat of the moment, you would miss all that, and you're focusing a lot more on Jeff. But very well played. We have although, would I have played it then? This is the problem I have. This is like, I love that it was played. I love the outcome. I love how it all unfolded. Although Sydney is kind of Sydney going home is sloppy. We go to the effort to take this idol, make it public, hide it under the shadows of Tiffany where nobody is looking. Perfect. All really, really good stuff. And then we play the game early that I have the idol. Xander pulls it out early, luring in Liliana, works flawlessly, works like a charm. Liliana goes to steal it. It's a fake. Brilliant. And then now we have Shan going, clearly Evie has the idol, which she doesn't. Perfect. Again, this is what they wanted, because Liliana could have taken it from either of the two. She would never have gone to Tiff. So hiding it in Tiff is masterclass. Announcing it there causes the chaos, because that announcement then leads Liliana to make her big move and announce it to everybody. Ha ha, I've got the knowledge is power. I get to ask someone a question. Xander, this is my question for you. Do you have an idol? No, I don't. Here's a fake. I've got this fake one. You can have it. It all blows up, which then causes the tailspin of what's going to happen next. What do? We don't have that idol. We've got the Sean's idol. No, sorry, they don't. They've got Shan's idol and they've got Nasir's idol. So they still, and Nasir, in this time, you don't really know where Nasir sits. I think from memory, Nasir did sway across to the Xander, Evie, Tiff side here. The chaos that unfolds needed to be managed. What you probably could have done is just not. I don't know. Again, I don't know how this idol and advantage work, because from what I know, Jeff says, does anyone have an idol or advantage they would like to play before he reads the votes? Can Xander go, hold on, Jeff, and then Liliana go, hold on, Xander, I'm taking that idol in the moment just before the votes are read? If that's the case, that's what should have happened. For Liliana, she should have held on right at the end, or she didn't have to play, she did not have to showboat. Great, you've got the idol, you've shown me the idol, even though it wasn't an idol, but you've shown me the idol, I'm going to take it as soon as I can. It would have fallen flat for her because she was outplayed in this situation. Very, 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 very heavily outplayed. Again, thinking you've got the power, thinking you've got this great advantage, but having told Tiff, where do you think that knowledge was going to go? Where do you think that information was going to spread to? You told Tiff, who is sided with those two. She is not sided with you come merge. And she's shocked that the information has spread. All the information has spread. Everybody knows everything. And she's not playing for that. There's a little bit of talk about it. Who's going to have it? Evie, Xander, which is quenched with that one little conversation in the bushes. But I would have held on to it to avoid the chaos personally, because I would have thought I was in control. Because you also then do not know. They might not play it. Sometimes these are bluffs. More often than not, they are bluffs. Will you play it? Won't you play it? Cool. I'm going to hold on to my cards just a little bit longer. I don't need to show my hand just yet. But these hands are shown really, really early. Xander's is a bluff. Liliana's is not. By revealing her true cards, she screws her team up. Lucky for her, collateral damage, Sydney, no issues. The problem we have here in this situation is the Xander, Tiff, and Evie trio have missed one tiny little moment that could have changed the course of the game. They've taken the idol, they've hidden it under the shadows, where most likely it's a 99% chance that would not be found. And it wasn't. And it didn't even look like it was going to be found. Even when it was played, Shan saying Evie's got it. They've hidden it there. What they have then missed is what happens within the chaos. They had no plan for the chaos. If their plan was solid, we're going for Deshaun. Deshaun is panicking now because it's going to be me, because that's where the chaos. I'm on the chopping block. It's me. If he becomes the fake idol in this situation, and you actually intend to vote Shan out, vote Danny out, or you can't vote Shan because she's immune. Vote a Danny out. That's a blindside and a half, because you've done everything. That's why I say this move is almost flawless. There is so much good stuff about this move. The one slip up is they let Sydney go. Sydney could have been their ally. Sydney could have been the deciding factor going forward. Because right now you have what we are shown. We've got our tight alliance of 4 of Shan, Danny, Deshawn, Liliana. And we have a tight alliance of 3 now, Xander, Evie, and Tiff. Then you have Nasia, kind of more aligned to the 4, but potentially easily to be moved. We have Erica, who, again, haven't seen much of her. She had the island thing, but she says everyone's whispering, and I've been getting whispers, but we didn't see it because it's insignificant for us as viewers. So we got Erica as a wishy-washy. Then we've got Heather. Do we remember Heather? We've only seen Heather once as she struggled with the ball challenge. Who the hell is Heather? Heather's up for grabs. Then you have Sydney up for grabs. So you've got a tight 3, a tight 4, and unless I forgot someone, 4 loose members that aren't really aligned with each other, that aren't really aligned with anybody, that they're votes to grab. Bringing in a Sydney, saving a Sydney, because now she's worried, because it's either going to be her or Evie. So she has no reason to side with the other 4, because they have to vote her off. She knows she's not in that group. And you know you're not in that group when someone says to you, trust me that I'm going to do something, and then you will know you're safe and it's all good. Well, sure, I can trust you, but you can't trust me enough to tell me what it is. So I'm left out of the loop. I'm at the bottom of the ladder. That's enough of a sign to go, I'm worth nothing in this alliance. Meaning, keeping Sydney around is really, really important for those 3. Locking her in. Then we have Heather, Nasia, and Erica that are up for grabs. Erica already kind of feels on the out. You could probably take her. Heather, I mean, we don't know much about her, but Heather is similar age to Tiff. Maybe I'm being a bit ageist here, but they might share a bond. They might connect that way. And Nasia could go either way. But there is a chance for them to build a strong bond here and have a couple of extra floaters. But end up, hopefully, if you keep Sydney and you take Heather, Erica and Nasia still stay floaters, you've kind of got a 5-4. You've got a majority of the large alliance holding the numbers, which can bring fear into someone like Erica, who doesn't want to be on the bottom of the numbers. And why would you go for a 5-5 split? It won't be, but why would anyone go into that 5-5 split come 10 players left if you've got a group of 5, group of 4, and a 1 swing? The swing probably goes across. So this is where, within the chaos, Tiff, Xander, and Evie needed that plan. That no matter what was going on, we're going we're going Deshawn, freak out Deshawn. But those votes are never going on Deshawn. Never. And if that's in control, no matter what's happening in the chaos, Deshawn's to save himself, he plays his extra vote to go for Sydney or whichever one, but he plays the extra vote. I'd have to do the maths here. But they have to split. They have to split between Evie and Sydney. Knowing they have to split, doing the maths, if you have locked this potential plan within the chaos, we have lost. So what are we at? We have Evie gets Evie gets 3, Deshawn gets 3, Sydney gets 4. Or no, it might be 3. If Sydney had a vote, it would have been a tie, from what I gathered, I think. My math sucks. I really should have watched that part again. I apologize. But if Sydney keeps a vote, she doesn't keep a vote because she's panicking. You've now lost someone because you've now lost a vote because she's panicked, because she doesn't have any other option. You're not playing an idol for her. Her name's on the block. It's going to be her or Evie. She has to. But if you have given her a solid plan, if you have gone, this is the possibilities that could happen. What we need to do is focus on Deshawn when it's not actually Deshawn, causing the panic, causing the split vote. If you do the maths correctly, you have 4 there, all going on Danny. Maybe you take in Erica. Maybe you take in Heather. If you can get that plan solid, you don't even need to use you don't even need to use the advantage of the extra vote. But you needed to have a plan within the chaos. And in the end, they didn't. They stuck with Deshawn, and it doesn't matter. Look, I mean, they could have all gone Deshawn, but within the panic that was allowed to unfold, you lost Sydney. And you never gained anyone else, really, did you? Because you only had 3 on Deshawn. So everyone else was across on the other side because they had the numbers. There's 4 of them. There's 3 of you. You're on the bottom. The chaos has happened. Within chaos, we need certainty because anything can happen. So you don't have a hope of swinging across anyone else. Whereas if you have that plan in place for that chaotic moment, it's not. Sydney can calm herself. If she understands what's going to happen, Sydney does not need to play her shot in the dark because it's safe. This is what they think is going to happen. This is what's actually going to happen. We had the start of that. This is what they think is going to happen. Xander's going to have an idol. He's not going to have it. They're going to think Evie has it. But in fact, Tiffany has it. And props to Xander for not playing it. I would have played it. That was a risky, paid off, strong, ballsy ass move. I'm playing that thing. It's out in the open. Like that's nerves of steel. Oof. And just by a vote, just by 1 vote. And again, why Sydney? Because she was the only one else they could vote for. But Evie was more dangerous. But why was she the smaller end of the split? I would have made her the higher end of the split, Sydney the lower. If the idol is played, Evie goes home. So it's weird that they pushed for Sydney. I find that very strange. But within that, again, all I have to say is the chaoticness needed the plan underneath. Everything else was really, really awesome. Everything else was well played. But a Danny should have gone home. Someone they weren't expecting. I don't want Danny to go home. I like Danny. I think he's going to be my physical friend of the season. But yeah, that's what should have happened in my mind. Instead of keep the panic on Deshawn, but the target has never been Deshawn. Always really good having those, having the diversion happen in place. Now, the one tiny little thing. It's just, this is forced. These moments are forced. It was a great moment. It was a really great moment. And it was awesome and I loved it. But this stuff can happen without corralling the players into this situation. We've seen it before. I mean, we saw the great moment where Sari convinces Eric to play his immunity necklace for her, votes him out. We see the Parvati moment. We see so many of these moments in the history of the game that smart players can manipulate a situation. Here we have a lot of dumb things that have happened within the context of these really interesting, sometimes overpowered, sometimes too many things, and sometimes too exposed advantages and idols. And the bonehead play of talking about everything to everybody and giving up all your information. But it does lead to an interesting play. I would just wish the Survivor production team would trust that if they cast correctly, if they cast great strategists, and there are some good strategists on this game, Shan, Evie, Xander might be coming back in my books, you know, if he had anything to do with that. There are some good players here. Don't let them miss out on these opportunities, because it took us 7 episodes to see this sort of gameplay happening. We could have seen this stuff happening all throughout if you trusted them a bit more. And I don't mind mixing up and trying new things, but just don't force people to be able to do stuff. It's like, you've got this, and we want you to steal an idol. We want that to happen, or for it to blow up in your face. I don't know. Actually, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm still thinking it through, just as I, because it's the same thing. We want this person to be saved. It's all really the same, I guess, when in the grand scheme of things you have the idol and someone's got an idol. I mean, what's the difference? Really, what's the difference? It just feels like they're forcing it. I guess I would like things to be a bit more secretive. And that's why this was brilliant. The secret element of Tiff having everything. I don't mind this slight editing of going back in time. If you've ever watched the Korean show The Genius, they do that quite often at the end of the episode. This is what we missed. That's kind of fun. I don't mind that. But yeah, anyway, great episode. I'm going to go and finish my little bourbon and whiskey and maybe watch it again because I liked it so much. Have a good night, guys. See you next week.